Hey, welcome to Did You Watch Survivor Last Night? My name is Jake Scheidel. This is a podcast about reality TV and friendship. Each week I talk about a certain reality television show with my best friend, the world's foremost Jeff Probst fan. His name is Thomas Powell. Hey, Thomas, how you doing?
Oh, I'm great. Any day that Jeff Probst is alive and kicking is a good day for me.
God, can you imagine the day that Jeff Probst dies?
No, because I hope I will be long dead.
I got a question for you. Did you watch Survivor last night?
No, because I watched it today.
Nice. Yeah, we should say we're recording this, 10 hours later than we normally would?
Yeah,
Usually we
yeah.
record, late morning. We're recording it, mid-evening at this point.
Yep.
So
we both had scheduling issues, so
yeah, we had things to do.
Coming slightly later than we usually do.
Except, it's still Sunday night. You go to church this morning?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's what I was doing. I was like, I need to get back into going to church. It's Lent. How bad is it that I forgot what Lent was called? I hope my mom doesn't listen to this.
Yeah.
She's gonna be real upset.
If she is, what's up, Mary?
And if Mom, you decide to email us, remember to end it. Your pal Jeff Probst.
It's crazy how Jeff Probst is your mom.
Well, it's 2016. People have different rules than they did in the 50s.
I think we're past the point where Jeff Probst can't be your mom.
Yeah, Jeff Probst your mom, TJ Lavin's your dad. What are you gonna do about it?
That would be that is the perfect, for a traditional mom-dad role. That's the dynamic right there.
Right, when two artists get together and then their kids are also artists, like Jay-Z and Beyonce and Little Miss Blue Ivy? It's
yes.
If TJ Lavin and Jeff Probst were your parents, you would be the ultimate competition reality TV show host.
Well, you would, and also, I just feel like Jeff Probst would be a little more on you, and I just imagine TJ Lavin just being ask your mother a lot.
Yeah. I feel like TJ Lavin would be the cool dad who takes you to skate parks. And
yeah,
it brings you to R-rated movies when you're 13.
He's going to live vicariously through you. You need to be a better TV host than him, and also a better BMX rider than him. So.
Mm-hmm. If only one could be. TJ Lavin, A+ BMX rider. Probably. I've literally never seen anything he's ever done.
He's famous
other
enough,
than
he's
TJ
famous enough
Lavin's
to host
The
a show
Challenge.
not related to BMX biking, that he better have been a really good BMX biker.
I suppose, yeah. This week's episode is called Signed, Sealed, and Delivered, which is a quote from everybody's favorite person, Jason.
I thought you were going to say Stevie Wonder.
That's
Stevie
Wonder. Signed, Sealed, and Delivered is the Stevie Wonder song?
Well, he just has a line in the song, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Also, as much as Stevie Wonder is great and I love him, Stevie Wonder isn't blind and has been duping us for years, so... go peruse those conspiracy theories at your leisure, because they are very entertaining.
They, it makes sense. That one time it looked like he checked out Alicia Keys, and her, parts. I don't know. That's the number one go-to.
There's also
when people say Stevie Wonder.
There's also him catching a microphone that Paul McCartney accidentally tips over, that I just don't know if he would have the intuitive reflexes to have caught. But,
I don't know, did it make a noise when it was falling over?
No, it didn't. So, hashtag Stevie ain't blind, that's all I'm saying.
It's a very important hashtag. The most important hashtag we will mention on this podcast.
And I will say, I don't actually think Stevie Wonder isn't blind, but if Stevie Wonder was in fact not blind, I would not judge him for it. Because the theory is basically Berry Gordy gave it to him as a gimmick to sell records initially, and that when he took off as much as he did, he had to keep doing it. So, at that point, I get it, and it's not you were... It's not like he was only famous because he was blind. His music was legitimately really good.
If he was faking being blind, why would he, not, I don't know, Okay, forget I brought this up. I was gonna say, why would you not, like, cover your eyes when you're performing?
I'm sorry,
Probably because you
what?
need to see what you're doing.
How is he gonna play piano if he has his hands over his eyes?
I don't know. Blind people can play piano. Ever heard of somebody named Stevie Wonder?
I'm sorry, Jake, what do you think being blind is? Do you think being blind is a disorder where your hands are constantly covering your eyes?
It's like, I feel
Because
like...
your rebuttal to Stevie Wonder wouldn't be able to play piano if he had his hands over his eyes the whole time is, well, blind people can play piano, as if there are blind people who can play piano, like, with their elbows while they're covering their eyes the whole time.
Like, why not put some cardboard behind your glasses?
What, so
So
you
you're
can
not
break
distracted
dance
by
on the
anything.
glasses?
Yeah. This is
Do you
terrible.
want Stevie Wonder to make one of those, like, solar eclipse things that you, like, viewfinders that you can watch the solar eclipse through without your eyes getting fucked up? Is that what you want him to do while he plays piano?
Here's my conspiracy theory on Stevie Wonder. He looked into an eclipse without any special glasses on, and he actually got blinded.
Well, that wouldn't. How would that be a conspiracy theory? It would just be a way that he was blind. He would still be blind. What is a conspiracy? Did the sun conspire to make Stevie Wonder blind?
No, I think people believe that Stevie Wonder was blind by birth or something, but actually it was a different origin
so his
story.
blindness wouldn't be as legitimate if he had just gotten it through a childhood indiscretion.
Was he born blind?
I have no fucking idea. Well, okay, no, I do. He wasn't because he's not blind.
Because he's not blind.
That's my answer.
I believe that Stevie Wonder became blind after George Bush created 9/11.
All right, no, we're done here.
And also when he went to the moon, or at least pretended to. He had terrible...
he was blinded because of the guilt of helping George Bush knock down the towers, is where you're going with
Exactly.
that?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jet
He's
fuel
like, I
can't
can't
melt
do it
steel
anymore.
beams, but it can blind Stevie Wonder.
All right. Let's start into the episode. After the last vote on the Brain Tribe, they voted out... who, Liz? Was that her name? Liz?
Liz, yes.
They voted out Liz, and Debbie called herself the mastermind of the vote. Which, I guess, but also if you were the mastermind of the vote, wouldn't she have gotten voted out without a tiebreaker?
I think she initiated it, but I also think that
suppose.
she's not as in control as she thinks she is, because, what's the salt and pepper hair guy's name again?
Neil.
Neil. I think Neil
Or
is
as
the one...
as I referred to him in the while watching the last episode, Sad Wayne Coin.
Yes, Sad Wayne Coin. No, Neil was, last episode, like, Debbie was doing a lot of work, but she's really having to work to get that together, and Neil, as soon as he found out, got really, like...
Debbie was the Rihanna of this season of Survivor.
That's where you're going with that. Okay. Or the ASAP Ferg. Anyway, no, Neil got the one cutaway last week that was just him being like, I'm going to crush them for this, as soon as he found out, and that's the guy that actually knows what he's doing, is the guy that is just, like, hanging back, and then, like, comes in and shuts shit down when he needs to.
Yeah, man. Dr. President says that his team is no longer strong, physically or strategically. What are you talking about, Dr. Prez?
It's hyperbole, but I get his point in that Liz was a stronger person for challenges than at least, like, 2 or 3 other people on that team.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to maintain your tribe as being strong, like, if you want your tribe to win challenges routinely, I mean, it didn't end up being true this week, but I think that they're a stronger tribe for challenges with Liz than they would be with, like, Debbie or, Ripped Grandpa.
Yeah. Or Aubrey.
Or, yeah, like, Aubrey's kind of a non-factor.
Yeah. The only thing that Aubrey has going for her, more so than any female contestant on the Beauty Tribe, is that I know her name.
Yeah. I will say, though, their plan was to vote Neil off, right?
Originally, yeah, but then they all voted for, or not all, but the two people who were going to vote for Neil voted for Aubrey.
Well, I meant more just Dr. President and Liz's plan was to vote off Neil.
Yeah.
Because Neil is a stronger player than Liz, so Dr. President's assertion that they are weaker because they didn't go through with his plan is false. Because their whole point of going after Neil was that he is a strong player and they want to get him out early so they don't have to deal with him later. So,
yes.
just getting some mixed messages from Dr.
It's just spin for him.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's had a lot of experience with that being the Dr. President, you know?
Yeah.
He's a real flip-flopper.
He says that once there's a merge or a swap, he is going to vote everybody from this tribe off one by one.
That seems really stupid, but okay.
Yeah. God, he is annoying. I don't like him.
I am pretty much ready for him to be gone.
I'm going to get straight into the reward challenge. First reward challenge of the season.
Well, it was eventful, so they needed to get to it really quickly.
Yeah, they did. So they have to run through some obstacles, and then dig under a log and dig up 3 bags from a pit of sand, and then they have to skee ball 6 of the balls from the bags into 6 holes on a skee ball court. What is a skee ball court called?
I honestly don't have an answer for that. Typically, skee ball is
platform?
played in like a skee ball machine, but there was no machine there. So
Lane? Is it a lane?
Yeah, probably a lane. I think that's probably about right.
So they start the challenge, and Brain quickly falls in last place. Jeff Probst says, "Do you remember when we first started talking about this podcast, and we were like, oh, what segments can we do? And we were like, what about like something like Probst quotes?"
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, there's an idea.
I think that you are going to put forth the Probst quote that I was also going to mention here, so I'll let you do it. But
when Debbie was sliding under the log, and he said, "It's like a turtle birthing an egg."
Yes, that one lodged in the old noggin immediately.
In 32 seasons of Survivor, that is the greatest quote I've ever heard from Jeff Probst. That is so
incredible.
Good. Oh my god. And Joe, this is, as soon as this challenge starts, it's obvious from what they've shown us from the last episode's preview of this episode that this is the challenge that somebody has to leave because they get so hurt they can't play the game anymore. So that is in your head the entire time watching, and it's like, okay, so who is it going to be? And Joe mentions during the challenge that he's dying. It's real hot, I guess. Everybody's digging for their bags. 45 minutes pass before anyone finds all 3 bags. Brain has found 1 bag so far. 45 minutes pass, and they find the 2nd and 3rd bags pretty quickly after that.
Yeah. And this is 45 minutes with the sun beating down, with no shade at all. It's really hot, and their sand kind of magnifies that sort of thing too. They're just in sand.
Yeah, because it's just shining off the sand. So
yeah.
It's gonna bounce back and
that's
hit you
fucked.
2 times.
Like, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. It looked real hot. It's like
yes, very sexy.
Oh yeah, looking at President Doctor, and I don't know. This isn't the most attractive tribe, honestly, or season.
I don't know, man. There's some babes on this season. I think you're selling everybody short.
I mean, no, there's obviously some good-looking people, but I feel like there have been better. Maybe it's just because they're pushing this beauty thing so hard.
Well, yeah. And also, I think Liz was probably one of the 5 most attractive people on the show, and she got voted off last week. So.
She got voted off. Not hot enough. Hot or not. Has that ever been a reality show?
No,
hot or not, and then they just vote people off based on hotness?
No, there was a reality show on ABC that was like a hot or not type show, but I don't think it was called that.
When
where
was
people would just go down a runway and the audience would vote on whether they were hot or not, and then
what?
Yeah, like it was really stupid and terrible.
I'm guessing it lasted 1 season, if that.
I don't even think it lasted a full season.
Wow. ABC it does a really good job of doing like summer reality shows that last no more than 1 season.
Yeah, this was back in like 2002 that this happened.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a long time ago.
When they were like, reality TV is a new genre. Let's do
where they're
literally
like, let's
anything.
make 800 reality shows.
That mentioning that, I've always thought like, oh, if there's ever a moment where there's no Survivor season or challenge season. What can we talk about? Should we go back and watch an old season of Survivor? No, we should not.
Nope.
Because early seasons of Survivor are exactly the same show as, like, The Real World was in the early 2000s, or, like, I don't know, The Simple Life, or any of those early 2000s reality shows where it's just, like, a lot of people bickering and fighting, and not so much the gameplay, as it is these days. So don't go back and watch the early seasons of Survivor. That's my advice to you.
But getting back to, like, whether there are babes on this show or not, pretty much everybody on the Beauty Tribe is a babe, and, like, Ty's not a babe, but, like, he's also, like, that guy's pretty toned, and and
he is cute. He's cute for an old man.
I'm gonna remember her name at some point, because she's, like, maybe my favorite person on the show, but the bodybuilder that's on the
Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney. Sydney can get it. Sydney is.
Oh yeah, Sydney's yeah.
All right, we should get away from this. This is just going to get disgusting fast.
Yep.
I used the sentence "she is a 10," so I think that's probably the worst.
Oh, I thought you said she is a tank because she is a bodybuilder.
She's also a tank because she's like super ripped. But I used the phrase "she is a 10," which I think is probably going to be the worst moment that has ever happened on this podcast. So I apologize.
We had an entire episode where you couldn't hear anything I said. That was worse than this.
Yeah.
This was worse than that, I should say.
Yeah. No, sorry.
No, there was a couple episodes ago, she wore, like, this super cool American flag bikini, and I was like, oh, I like that. So I, like, looked up a picture of it, and then I saw a bunch of pictures of her, like, actually being a bodybuilder, and I was like, that's very scary. I am afraid of her. It's like, okay. So speaking of the Braun Tribe, Alicia is 45 minutes. That's a long time for her to be doing anything. So she's just kind of kicking the sand around while everyone else is digging. Caleb's struggling.
At one point, Alicia tries to tell them that it is easier and more effective. Like, easier
to kick the sand around.
More effective to kick the sand than to actually dig.
Which, no, it's not.
That's incorrect.
Yeah. Ty tells Caleb to hang in there. And then the Brain Tribe wins. Good job. Beauty Tribe gets all 3 of their bags. Debbie is struggling with the heat, and Joe is freaking out because they're besties, you know? So he calls over the medics, and mentions that Debbie is only 98 pounds. That can't be right.
I don't know. She's very petite.
She's small, but, like, I doubt they would ever allow anyone on that show who weighs so little. Like, you would lose so much weight on this show.
If she's not 98 pounds, then she's not much more than that.
Yeah. But so that's so small.
Yeah, it is. I also wanted to say really quick just that, like, as soon as it got to the skee ball, I was like, oh yeah, the Brain Tribe are definitely going to win this, because, as Uncle Phil said in the pool hustle scene in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it's simple geometry.
Yeah.
All angles for that stuff, so I knew those guys were going to kill it.
Using those smarts.
Also, smart people like myself love skee ball, so I'm just saying.
I might have mentioned this. I might have mentioned this on this podcast, but I once, a few weeks ago, walked past some people. There was like a group of 3 women, and one of them was telling her 2 friends the rules of skee ball. Like, they'd never heard of the game skee ball, so she had to explain it to them.
I can't imagine it took that long. It's a pretty easy thing to explain.
Yeah. I was like, what? How do you not... Like, you've seen commercials for Dave & Buster's or Chuck E. Cheese. Like, you know this is a game, right?
I don't know how you could go through, like, reach adulthood before having, not just... I'm not even saying having played skee ball, but, like, having seen skee ball. Like, the only the situation I could see arise is you don't know what it's called, and someone starts to explain it, and you're like, oh, no, I've seen that.
Oh, yeah, I know what that is.
My school carnival I had one time.
Yeah.
It'd be like if you tried to explain ring toss to someone.
No, now, what is ring toss?
There's a bunch of sticks on the ground, and you've got some rings, and you have to try and throw... You have to stand a little ways away from the sticks that are sticking out of the ground, and you have to try and loop the ring around the stick.
Oh, yeah. So it's like you're like tossing a ring?
Yes.
Okay, so that explains why it's called ring toss.
Throw or toss the ring. And if you're playing it in the terrible video game Darkseid 2, your character will miss every time, and every time that he misses, the carnival guy will go, you missed, pal!
Or if and only if then. So as the medical team is taking care of Debbie, the other two tribes are still competing because, why wouldn't you?
Well, there's a secondary prize, so...
Yeah. Debbie seems okay. She seems to be doing fine. So, while all of this has happened, Beauty has scored 5 of the 6 points. Brawn Tribe is still looking for their third bag. It's amazing how terrible this tribe is. The Brawn Tribe.
Yeah, they're really, considering the people on the team, you would think they would be better at challenges.
Yeah, you've got an NBA...
The thing is, and I will say this in their defense, and we'll get to this later, this was a very poorly planned challenge, and the bags were way harder to find than they needed to be, because Brawn Tribe, I believe, got to the sandpit before anybody else did.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly the specifics.
Get to see if they were... I would think... Because I think Scott got 2 or 3 of them into the holes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that Scott would be good at skee ball because it involves using, touch to toss balls into a hole, which is not dissimilar from basketball.
Yeah.
So you would think he would be pretty good at that, but he didn't get a chance to ever really do it competitively because they were so far behind that there was no way that you could really tell if he was good at it or not. But
yeah.
I find it to be more of a problem with the challenge than I do anything else because, it was just weird luck how they got the bags almost. It was like you were digging around in a giant sand pit and maybe you found them or maybe you didn't, but it's not like there was any real analytical or skill-based way to get them. You just had to dig.
Yeah, it's... They've done that kind of thing before, and it's never taken that long, where you just dig to find something.
They just did it really badly this time.
Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, Scott is annoyed with Alicia, and tells her, keep cheerleading, it's what you're best at. That's not a super awesome thing to say to someone.
That's kind of a shitty thing to say, but I get why he was frustrated.
Yeah. Finally, Braun finds their third bag, but it's too late. Beauty takes second place, and as soon as the challenge is over, Sydney drops to the ground.
Well, Caleb drops first, actually.
Oh, yeah, why didn't I write that in my notes? I think we just skipped over that.
Yeah, because they're tending... Medical is tending to Caleb, who also appears to have heat stroke, but worse than Debbie did. Mm-hmm. And as they're tending to him, and it's looking pretty serious, Sydney goes down too.
Yeah, so after a while, Sydney gets back up, but then she drops again. And then everybody's freaking out, obviously. Jeff calls the entire crew for the shoot.
Caleb is unresponsive.
Yeah. He calls the entire crew over and yells at them, everyone is essential personnel. He tells them, you gotta fan these people, give them water, give them whatever they need. He's won an Emmy for this show a few times for his hosting. If he doesn't win an Emmy after this...
really...
Yeah, he did a really good... I was very impressed with his... he's already one of the best hosts on TV, but he did such a good job at this episode.
That was impressive damage control on his part, because, honestly... we can just say Caleb was... It was serious... Caleb's heat stroke was serious enough that he had to leave the show. They had to chopper him out. Sydney managed to recover okay, but this is I think this is a black eye for the show. I think that because to have 3 people go down from heat stroke in one challenge, that's at a point where that's negligence on your part in creating the actual challenge. Because it's hazardous enough that if it had happened to one person, it wouldn't be a big deal. And maybe even 2, it wouldn't be a big deal. But for having to 3 people and have one of those instances, because Sydney's was very serious too, but to have one of those instances be so serious that the contestant is unresponsive at one point and then has to leave the show from something that's not a weird fall or something like that. It's from consistent heat exposure. this is a real problem with how you designed this. And it's the kind of thing that if they hadn't signed whatever waiver they signed, which I'm sure they can't sue them for this stuff like that, it's the kind of thing you'd get sued over because they were blatantly endangering these people's lives.
I wonder, though, if they just didn't expect people to take so long to finish.
Oh, no, they didn't,
the game.
But that's their fault for making those for designing the bag part of the challenge.
Sure. Because
that added, at the very least, for the least amount of time it added for a team was 45 minutes of uninterrupted, no shade, just like pure sun exposure, which is really bad when it's that fucking hot out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I thought this was bad, and the AV Club review of this I thought had an interesting take on it, and both of us read it and had our thoughts on it, but this was absolutely riveting television, and I agreed with I can't remember who writes their recaps, but whoever they are, they do a very good job. But I also at the end just felt like weird about it because it was all very dramatized and it made for good dramatic television, but it was dramatized around endangerment of people's lives. And I think that the show could have treated it a little more tastefully. Like I watched it with no noticeable commercial breaks. Like I watched it through Xfinity with ad block on. Please don't send the police. But they cut to commercial apparently. Like they did like a dramatic commercial break around the Caleb.
Yeah, when Caleb
was unresponsive.
when he was unresponsive, they cut.
That's
and
really
they came
bad.
back.
That's really bad on the editor's part.
Yeah. But also, their job is to make a compelling television show, and...
Okay, their job is to make a compelling television show. When you fuck up that badly, and there's something that serious, I think you need to set that aside. Like, basic decency dictates that you set that aside in this one instance. Because it could have been perfectly compelling television, and if they didn't, like, was anyone really gonna stop watching because they cut off the commercial at that point? Like, oh man, they didn't tease me enough for this next part of it. How am I gonna know if Caleb's okay? Like that kind of thing. Like, I just think that's completely unnecessary.
I suppose it is unnecessary, but if they have the opportunity and they want to, no matter what, they want to milk this for whatever it's worth, and. Like, I think if two people had to go home because of this, I could see why you might be upset about it, or someone watching might be upset about it. But, yeah, they pushed these people to the edge, and it's a fucking hard game. So,
okay,
sorry.
It's a hard game. It is a hard game, but in a reward challenge, not even an elimination challenge, when you have 3 people go down for heat stroke is a very avoidable thing. Like, just don't have people exposed to the sun that often. Like, to have 3 people go down in one challenge, that's bad. Like, for the preview for this season, they showed multiple medical evacuations, and I was like, oh, there's probably a couple really tough challenges. That entire teaser might have occurred in one challenge. Like, every single thing that we saw from that. Like, I just think that's a very poorly designed challenge, if you do it that way.
It was probably just an oversight on production side.
No, and I think that's bad, but I think you can have a production oversight, and I think it looks bad for the show. I do. I think Jeff handled it like a champ, and I think the medical staff did a good job, but it's just kind of craven, I think, to edit it the way that they did. I just think that it's not even like the point that it's unnecessary. I don't even think really matters. Like, Survivor's not going to get canceled because a couple people stopped watching because you didn't tease them enough with editing, which I don't even think would happen. But like, I just think if you failed the way that you failed to protect your contestants, because I think that there's a necessary balance for these challenges where they need to be exhausting, but they don't need to be so exhausting that you physically endanger your contestants.
But they did protect their contestants. they brought the medical team out for every single one of them.
Yeah, but it was still bad enough that someone who is a very physically fit person had heat stroke so badly that they had to leave. It's not like he...
But that's not a rare occurrence. Like, people have to leave the game fairly often from injury or getting sick or, on occasion, heat exhaustion.
Yeah, but I think the number of people that you had makes it more of an issue. 3-1 is pretty bad.
I can see where you're coming from. I feel bad for everybody who that happened to. I understand, but I also understand where the why production produced it the way they did. I understand why they edited it the way they did.
I just think that's a top-down decision, and I think it is very... It's just not a compassionate way to do that, I think. I think it shows a blatant lack of concern for the people that are... Like, the contestants are making you money on the show, and you're still gonna milk it to make it look like oh my god, what if this guy died? Like...
Okay, here's this, though. If he had serious medical complications, or if any of them had serious medical complications after that, I think they would have handled it much differently. They came back after his evacuation and said he has recovered 100%, he is doing fine, he wants to play the game again.
I just still think this was serious enough that I think you have to throw the usual reality editing out the window.
Nah, I don't think so.
That's all I'm gonna say. We're in different camps on this. That's fine, but
I think they did. I don't think I would have done it any differently.
I disagree. We can move on though.
They have no reason to be compassionate for a person who is doing okay. You know, like...
I mean, the fact that they inflicted serious physical harm on that person does, I think, require a certain amount...
They gave him adequate medical attention enough that he recovered 100%. So... I don't know. I think we would have to see what he says about it.
It's that it was a completely avoidable situation. It was completely unnecessary to have them out there that long, to expose them to the sun that long, because it was a poorly designed challenge. It was the fuck-ups along the way that make the eventual result entirely the fault of the production staff, in which case, maybe just edit it a little bit differently. I don't think that's that much to ask. I really don't. And, I think we can move on from this discussion because we're talking in circles, but, I just want to be clear about that. That's what I think. I know you don't think that, but whatever.
Anyway, so Caleb obviously isn't going to want to leave the challenge or the game, and Jeff Probst tells him, you don't have a choice, and then tells him that he's a warrior.
Also, Ty is distraught, because he's not going to get that kiss.
He wants
and also because him and Caleb were buds. I felt bad.
They were good buds, yeah.
It felt bad just to see everybody. Everybody was very worried, and it was scary. It was a scary situation.
Yeah, it was definitely scary. So after the challenge, Probst gathers everybody, all the tribes up, and is like, hey, how's everybody doing? Jason says about Sydney that he is going to stick with her to the very end. That's very sweet. They go back to
you're
camp.
Gonna get there, Jason.
Yeah, right. Debbie, they go back to the tribe, or the camp, on the Brains tribe. Debbie says that her daughters are very proud of her, which I wouldn't mention this part, or this scene at all, except for the fact that Debbie's daughters' names are Crystal and Jade.
Bad.
Really
also,
bad.
She, cries a little bit.
Whoa.
This is one of the
Kids
first,
people with kids are always crying.
That we get.
Ugh, who cares? I don't care about her kids because their names are Crystal and Jade. If one of them was named Crystal or one of them was named Jade, I'd be like, okay, fine. And the other one was like Elizabeth or something, I'd be like, okay, fine. Those are good names. But Crystal and Jade both? Is your son's name Rock? Is your son Dwayne Johnson?
Or Stone, like Stone Phillips?
Yeah.
If I'm going to rank Debbie's daughters' names,
Please do.
Jade number 1. I think that's a perfectly fine name. Crystal, a very distant second.
Oh, yeah.
And
still,
together,
still
just
Silverado,
bad.
though.
The presence of Crystal's name ruins Jade's name, which is unfortunate because I think that's a perfectly decent name.
There was a girl that we went to middle and high school with named Crystal, who I didn't like very much, but her first and last name were alliterative, which I liked.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Personally did not care for her, but you liked the way that her name sounded.
I recall her being very gullible, and there was somebody had some story about her being gullible, but I can't remember any specifics about it, so let's continue.
Great anecdote.
I think it was really fun. Alicia over on the Braun tribe is upset by Scott's cheerleading comment and asks, what would one of your teammates say in the NBA? And Scott says, first of all, when I'm in the NBA, I'm playing with some of the best in the world, so there's no comparison. Which I think that was a pretty decent comeback from Scott.
Yeah, it was. I thought this whole thing, I think that they both, like, I think that Alicia didn't really have, like, much to stand on, but I thought that Scott came off really badly in this segment.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's a dismissiveness from him and from Jason that is kind of sexist, and
yeah,
it's like this hyper masculine thing that I don't. Because it's not just that they both fancy themselves to be the best member of their team, which they're not. Sydney is, and Sydney barely gets any attention from them.
Mm-hmm. I forgot what I was going to say.
I don't know. I think that Jason probably...
Oh.
I don't know if Jason's sexist, actually. Jason has an interesting talking head where he talks about how he wants his daughters to be, like, strong, independent women, which is cool.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I don't know if Scott is either. I just think that the way that they interact with Alicia, just, it sets off some... My hackles go up. It's not good.
I'm wondering, though, how much of Alicia's obnoxiousness we actually get to see. Like, you ever know somebody who it's like... They're so annoying, and you can't stand being around them.
Oh, I can tell those guys are 100, and that everybody on that team is 100% done with her.
But then when thinking about this person or like trying to explain what's so obnoxious about them, you're kind of at a loss for words. It's just like they're just annoying.
Yeah.
And so it kind of seems like you're bullying them.
Yeah. No, and there's some interesting armchair psychology in Tribal this week, like what Scott says about her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think not that it's terribly important in the analysis of the show, but like it'll be interesting to see how they react or how they interact with female contestants after this week because spoiler, Alicia's gone.
Yeah. So Sydney complains in a talking head that Alicia doesn't know how to shut up. Okay, cool. I don't feel like I needed to read that. Sometimes I just read notes as they appear on my screen. So then they get to the immunity challenge. They have to race through the jungle, pick up some puzzle pieces, then they have to go get some more puzzle pieces in the ocean, and then they have to solve a puzzle. Pretty simple challenge. Nobody dies from heat stroke in this challenge, so that's good.
Yeah, this one was better designed in that medical did not need to be called.
Oh, did you also notice that on medical, Dr. Joe was there? You remember Dr. Joe from last season?
I did notice that Dr. Joe's there, and also there's a guy that from far away, because he was wearing aviator sunglasses, I thought was Carl Pilkington for a second, and I was like, why is Carl Pilkington there?
Oh, man.
And then unfortunately it was not Carl Pilkington.
I'd love to see him on
it was
this
a
show.
person who had a head that looked like an orange, so naturally that was what I thought.
Braun quickly takes first place. Beauty is slightly behind them. Speaking of the Beauty Tribe, there's apparently someone named Michelle on the Beauty Tribe. I didn't know that.
I think in the next couple weeks we're gonna get to know the ladies of the Beauty Tribe.
Ladies, yeah. There's been a lot of focus on Alicia versus everyone in this first few episodes. So now we've gotten through the surface contestants, you know?
Yeah, like, Caleb's gone too. This is a two-person elimination week, so.
Yeah. As the Brain Tribe is doing their puzzle, Debbie Debbie is reciting parts of the brain like a cheerleader.
I hate her.
I really do.
Like, go home, you fucking nerd. That's all I have to say about her.
It's like when you're learning about the brain in 7th grade, and you're like, I know what an amygdala is. That's not the right word, but you know what I'm saying.
I don't pretend not to be a particularly nerdy person, but she is the kind of nerd that bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah. She still listens to the Nerdist podcast in 2016.
Yeah. Chris Hardwick seems like a nice person. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
That podcast has just kind of run its course.
Make that money, Chris Hardwick. You're very good at shilling, and I'm glad that you're making money off of it.
Oh, you know he's shilling for Comcast now? Yeah, he's on an ad for Comcast.
Yeah.
Weird. What a weird thing.
It is weird. It is weird to think of where... Because I think you and I both listened to that podcast from, like, the first episode, basically.
Yeah, I listened to it for the first year or two, yeah.
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah.
But... Because I remember the 4th episode was John Hamm, and I was very excited about it, because I had already listened to... What was the order was like Thomas Lennon was on the first episode, and the third one was Adam Carolla. I can't remember what the second one was, but yeah, this is. I'm just like trying to lay down my podcast credit.
You can just go on Wikipedia and look that up.
I mean, you could, but it's just impressive that I would know that offhand. You know, that's all I'm saying. Put me on the brain shot, Jeff.
Here's what I think about that little. Here's what I think about your little anecdote about the Nerdist podcast. Who cares?
Oh yeah, because your anecdotes have been so strong this week.
There was a person I knew named Crystal who was gullible. I don't remember any more stories about her.
Not just that she was gullible, it's that someone else had a story about her, but you couldn't remember what the story was.
Yeah, that's the best kind of story.
All right, whatever. Let's move
on. Let's see. Oh, Brain Tribe loses. What a surprise. After the challenge, Alicia says, I tried.
Wait, you mean Brain Tribe won.
Brain Tribe? I meant Brawn Tribe. Yeah. After the challenge, Alicia says, I tried. And Sydney says, we tried.
I thought this was stupid because if she had said we tried, I think they would be like, well, you didn't contribute anything. So there was really no winning for her there.
Yeah. So Jeff sends off his immunity challenge winners to their own camps and checks in with the Brawn Tribe and offers to do a little tribal council right then and there, since the vote is so obvious.
But so he's only like, we all know where this is going. Yeah. Let's just get it over with.
End this episode right now. But he's only going to do it if everyone agrees. Of course, Alicia doesn't want to do it. They've done that before though, where they've done immunity. Or, not immunity, what is it called? Tribal Council. Immediately after Immunity Challenge.
I'm Jake. I've been watching Survivor forever, and I don't remember what Tribal Council is.
TJ Lavin hosts this show, right? They, what season was it? It was, I don't know, a few years ago. What's his name's son? Not son, nephew. I think it was his nephew. Came on, and was a fucking disaster and like made everyone super afraid for their safety. And Jeff was like, hey, what if we did tribal council right here, right now, behind this huge ramp that was part of the challenge? And everybody, like, I feel like I might be remembering this wrong, but he just kind of was like, hey, who wants what was his name, Rob gone? I don't know if it was Rob, but he had a name. And so he was like, who wants Rob gone? And just everyone raised their hand. And he left by announcing he controls his own destiny or something like that. He was a crazy person.
Wrong, but
yeah,
it's a weird thing to say after your fate was in everyone else's hands and they made you leave.
Yeah. So then I don't know if this has ever been done, but they go straight from the immunity challenge to tribal council. Like they edit. I mean, they go back to camp, but they edit from the immunity challenge to the tribal council. There's no camp stuff. But before we get into tribal council, let's talk about these wildlife shots. There were none.
Yes.
There were zero wildlife shots.
No wildlife shots.
At
Terrible.
all. This entire episode. I got like a third into the episode and I was like, are there going to be no wildlife shots this entire time?
Too much action.
So much action.
So do you, I know you had proposed to me before,
and you still haven't told me if you're going to marry me.
I think that we should, good one. I actually did think that was funny, listeners. That was a little more dismissive than I meant for it to be, but, just to take you behind the curtain, but, I think that there's a little ranking segment. Just do a little naval.
Do you want to do this right now instead of the wildlife
stuff? Since there are no wildlife shots to discuss, we have to. Okay. It's time.
Yeah. So we are now 25 episodes into this podcast. 26 once you listen to this. So let's go through all of our episode titles because that sounds like a fun thing, right?
Look, Jake and I are two guys that love to talk about episode titles. We always mentioned it for the challenge, mainly because they were usually really bad. But we always mention it for Survivor as well.
I also want to get into, once Rivals 3 starts, I want to explain more the challenges, thought process, in picking episode titles. Because it's, unsurprisingly, bad.
Poorly done. So yeah, this is a little, I think this segment can be a little bit of a how's our driving type thing, too.
Mm-hmm.
If you
1-800 did you watch Survivor last night at gmail.com. That's our phone number.
If you like or dislike episode titles, please tell us why. Email us and give us that feedback, Jeff Probst.
Please, Jeff. Why haven't you emailed us yet?
Whether you email us or not, we will be getting it from Jeff Probst. So.
Yes, our pal. So our first episode, I don't know if you remember this. This is the one where we tried to record over Skype and it was super bad. We called it Poor Audio Quality, which I think is the most accurate episode title we've had.
Accurate, but not. It doesn't move me.
I would agree with that.
I think I would put that one right in the middle of all of the times we've had.
So we're ranking these good or bad. What do you say, good or bad?
I'm going to say the exact midpoint between the two.
You're a real politician. Number 2, Joe wins at the end. I'm saying that one is good. I'm saying that's a good title. This is Hot Joe. This is Hot Joe, not Grandpa Joe.
I'm going to say bad.
Oh, controversy. 2 episodes in.
It's just a little too straightforward. It's not like a clearly recognizable joke, and I don't think it's intended as a John dies at the end reference, which even then...
That movie is good. Well, it was a little... one character was a little racist, but it's good. It's I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I don't think it's like... I'm saying if I'm comparing it to other episode titles, it's bad. I think that our level of quality is so high that this is what should be a good title.
Yes.
Being ruled a bad title by me.
Oh, we've got some good ones.
It's a tough curve.
I don't know, 5 or 10 episode titles.
I'm the asshole teacher that only gives one person in the class an A.
Yes. Episode 3, Throw Abby into the Sun.
That's a good title.
That is a good title.
That right there is a title.
It's also the episode with our most listeners. So that's a fun fact. And then we alienated every single one of those listeners by naming episode 4.
But I don't think it was the title's fault.
I don't think it was entirely not the title's fault. Episode 4 was called Vulpix Didn't Have 9 Tails, so why would 9 Tails have 9 tails? That was the episode in which we talked about Pokemon a lot.
I have a fondness for that title, but I think it is a bad title.
I would agree with that statement. Episode 5, called Thom Makes a New School Move. That's you. That's about you.
That is a functional title, but I don't know if it is a good one.
Okay. Episode 6, A Lot of Crying and Also Crying. Almost Crying.
That's a good title right there.
7, Sierra Might Be a Sociopath. Good title. I would say that's a good title.
Yeah, that's a good title.
I've abandoned naming the episodes after contestants, for the most part.
Yeah. Probably for the best.
Yeah. Number 8, Delightful Shit with Keith. That's a good episode title.
That's a pretty good title.
That's, it just dawned on me how dumb this segment is.
No, it's great, and it's definitely not going to run way too long.
I think that's a good title for, like, a kid's show, but then, like, a hardcore kid show because it's got a cuss word in it.
Yeah, but I was gonna say there's a swear in it, so like
Yeah.
only the cool kids will watch it.
Mm-hmm. 9, Joe is Tarzan. 10, another episode with Joe in the title. Joe German suplexing Kelly Wentworth. That's a good episode.
I think that is a strong contender for our best title, and Joe is Tarzan is bad. Sorry.
Okay, fair. Here's a bad one. 11, a feet heavy episode. Fun fact about a feet heavy episode.
I will counter. I think that is a good title because I just laughed at it.
A feet heavy episode, fewest number of listeners. So
Yeah, people.
I don't know why.
Maybe the one person that listened to it was very disappointed because it wasn't us just like talking about foot fetishes.
Number 12, my personal favorite maybe. My friend, my dad.
Oh, you know I'm gonna say that's a good one because that's like one of my favorite jokes to bring out.
13,
Brooklyn Nine-Nine stole my joke, and I don't think that they actually ever heard me make that joke. But Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
But you don't know that
friend,
they didn't.
Boyle at one point makes a joke about referring to his mom as his friend. He's like, introduced you to my good friend, my mom, and I was like, I totally did that joke.
I did that
That's
joke.
my joke. Michael Shore.
13, 2 Ric Flair fighting.
That's a good title.
That's a good title. Not one of our best, though. 14, a lot of animals hop the same.
Bad.
Yeah. 15, Entourage 2. That was the one with my sister. That was like 30 minutes long.
That
Bad.
was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote bad on that one.
I'll vote bad, but not because it's actually bad. Again, grading on a curve.
16, I liked this one. It was a little creative. An eye for an eye, a nani for a non-eye.
I don't like that one. That one's sorry.
I think it's great. I think it's very
We can
creative.
definitely tell who named that one based on those opinions. Also, I will say that more often than not, if the episode title is a quote that I said, I will obviously like it.
I think usually they're quotes from you.
I'm just saying, who's doing all the heavy lifting here? Me.
Yeah.
You know, like how I'm the one always recapping the episodes. Me doing all the heavy lifting.
17. This one was good. This was a Kaôh. We did this one together.
It's not worth the word that you're looking for is not worth it. Let's just say the title of it.
Collaboration.
17.
There we go. It was a collaboration. There we go. No Sleep Till Brooklyn. There we go. No Sleep Till Brooklyn. That's a good one. 18. A Drunk Penguin. Bad.
Yeah.
19. A Candace in the Wood. Nope.
Sorry, Candace in the Wind is what you meant?
Candace in the Wind.
Yes,
Good.
that is
good
that
title.
Is a very good title.
That's when we started having good titles. Like,
Yeah.
regularly.
Joe's German Suplex and Kelly Wentworth is a very good title.
That was the best early one. 20. Big Ol' Fake Shoulders Vince Staples. Good title.
Yeah, that's a good title right there.
21 though, best title, number 1 title we've done so far. Mr. Bloodbetrayed, tear down this blood wall.
Yes! My finest moment.
We have not had a title better than that.
No, we may never have a title better than that.
I always try to find something that's that good, but I just can't.
That was an episode I remember distinctly saying in the episode being like, now that's, like I said, a thing I assumed was funny, where I was like, that should be the title, and then later I said that, and then you were like, oh no, obviously
that's the one.
Spoke too soon.
22. Oh, this is fun. This is the second one about Germans. Germans wouldn't make 10% beers.
I think that's bad, but in the curve way.
Yes. 23. Good title. You Got Me Straight Trippin' Boo.
Yes, that's a strong contender for best.
24. Feel the Bananas on Survivor.
I think that was funnier in the moment of the episode, but is also a good title.
Yes. And 25, our most recent episode, Machismo Mr. Person.
That is also a very good title.
That's a good title.
We're on a roll. All winners.
Yeah, these last few episodes' titles have been pretty good. Even the bad ones are still better than the early episodes.
Yeah.
Mr. Bloodbetrayed, tear down this blood wall, though. Still number 1.
I think is the clear winner. And the worst one is, honestly, probably audio difficulties or whatever.
Poor audio quality?
Poor audio quality.
So Tribal Council, Jeff tells Alicia that he thinks she's going home. Oh, he also tells her that she's not on this tribe because she's a huge physical threat, but because she doesn't take any lip from anybody.
Which I was like, why would you put her on that tribe then?
Yeah.
I think with her and Ty, they just didn't have a clear place to put them. Oh, Alicia could have been on the beauty tribe, though. Why wasn't she there? For balancing issues, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Alicia gets voted out. As Scott wrote on his vote, Al, see ya. That's pretty clever.
Good one, Scott.
I mean, it was mean, but it was pretty clever.
Yeah.
So I wrote in my notes, tell me if you get this reference. Bye, Alicia. You get it? You like the thing?
mean, yeah.
It's pretty funny. So next week, there's a tribe swap. And remember what I said?
Out and said it in the previews. Like, get ready.
Last week I predicted a tribe swap within the next 2 episodes. Got it.
Nostradamus over here.
So that means...
More like Nostradamus. Oh!
Are you trying to... You're really trying for that episode title now.
I mean, I guess I was angling for it, but...
It's not going to be that. I mean,
that's probably a better title than Jake and Tom have a heated argument for 15 minutes.
Actually, that might be a good episode title.
That actually wouldn't be a bad title.
I'm going to tell you, episode 51, we're doing this again with the following 25 episodes.
I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a fan favorite segment. I'm predicting right now.
Fans versus favorites.
Not just a fan. Yeah, fan versus favorite.
That's a Survivor thing. I don't know if you know that.
I know it is. But,
okay.
Nice. I think it won't just be a fan favorite segment. It will be the fan favorite.
They'll say, talk about your episode titles more. It's super interesting and really fun because it's so meta.
Greatest segment. Answer, greatest segment.
Predictions. Who are you predicting is winning the game?
Because Sydney's great.
You know what? I made the same jump this week. I was pulling for Neil, but then I watched this up and I was like, you know what? I'm thinking it's Sydney now.
Sydney survived heat stroke, which I think is going to really help in a winner's edit. And she seems really chill and knows how to get along with people, is going to be good in challenges and is good in challenges.
And she's a 10.
And as I said earlier in the episode, when I was being gross, I was
we were
like,
being gross and lusty.
She's a 10 right there.
Ooh, gross and lusty. How's that for an episode title?
No, that's bad. That would be the worst title if you put that as the title.
Next out, who you got?
It's just hard to predict with the tribe swap, you know?
I know.
I'm going to say Debbie just purely based on wishful thinking.
Okay, I see that. I'm thinking Aubrey, though. I don't think she's made the connections. I don't think she's made the connections for a tribe swap.
And I think she very easily could be eliminated. My counter to that would be that she's anonymous enough and non-threatening enough that people would be like, we'll just leave her.
Fuck, this episode's going to be so long. We're already at an hour.
Yeah,
and we're not anywhere close to being done.
I mean, let's just lean into it, honestly.
Yeah. Fucking 2-hour episode. Let's go. So you got Debbie next week. I got Aubrey out. We were both gunning for Sydney. Points so far, because I'm keeping track of points now. You've got 1. I've got 2, because I called that tribe swap.
All right. I'm just going to have to make up that difference.
So let's go on to our final segment called Other Notes. Remember to use that hashtag #BananasOnSurvivor to get Johnny Bananas from the challenge on a better show called Survivor. Did you know that there's a challenge Facebook group that I'm a part of?
I did not know that. I guess, assumed. I never thought about it, but I guess if you had asked me, do you think there is a challenge Facebook group, I would have said yes.
Yeah.
And I did not know that you were a part of it, but I know that now.
Yeah, so I mentioned Bananas on Survivor in this Facebook group, and some people made some comments on it.
What was the consensus?
Well, let me read you the first comment I got on this. Chepe Rijo said, no.
Just no, that's it?
Just no. And then it also
cool,
says...
Chepe.
I know, right? He also doesn't have a profile picture, so that's weird. And he wrote no, and then it says, see translation. I don't speak a lot of Spanish, but I know that no translates to no.
Yeah, it was clear. At no point did you read that and go, I just don't know what it's saying.
He's probably saying yes, right?
Yeah. This isn't a foreign language, so maybe no means yes. And then Facebook translated and was like, no, it actually means no.
Somebody named Chet said that JEK, which I guess is an alliance throughout the challenge from a while back, and CT would be awesome on Survivor. Somebody named Edith said that bananas would be good on Survivor. Other people were like, also these people would be on Survivor. Somebody named Lynn said no more bananas, which that's not what I'm saying, Lynn. I'm saying let's get bananas on Survivor.
Lynn, if you want bananas off the challenge, then wouldn't you want them on Survivor?
Exactly.
Also, I think CT would be the classic example of a guy who got eliminated immediately as soon as the merge happened.
Yeah, I think Johnny Bananas...
if he made it that far, because I don't think CT's social skills are good enough for Survivor.
No, CT is super... You think Johnny Bananas is charming, you should see CT. CT is a charming motherfucker. That's what CT stands for. He's not very smart.
No, and I think that would hurt him. But, yeah.
Most people were like, yeah, that would be cool. People are on board with bananas on Survivor. Use that hashtag on the internet.
We have the populist movement.
We're the Bernie Sanders of Survivor.
We've already established this.
We are feeling the bananas on Survivor.
The bananas.
So let's real quick. I want to mention something about Caleb to you. I don't know if you've heard about this. Caleb, remember how he was like, "Hey, there's no homophobe in this body."
Yeah.
Lie.
What?
Yeah, he before he was on Big Brother, he used the F word, the gay F word on an Instagram comment, and then also called the real president, not Dr. President, the real life President Barack Obama, a Muslim monkey in the same Instagram comment. Yep. So, not the biggest fan of him.
I forgot to say this earlier in the episode, but I definitely feel a lot better about saying it now. Go back to Big Brother, you fucking pussy.
Yep. One more thing. Guess what starts on Thursday?
What?
Real World. Go big or go home.
Oh, God. I will not yet allow myself to be sucked into this.
Oh, you're going to be. You're going to see... free agents too, and be like, "Oh, I should have watched Go Big or Go Home."
Between these two, we would have to start another podcast.
Well, looks like we're starting another podcast.
No, it looks like we're not. Actually, is what I was going to say.
Fine. Twitter DYWSLN is the Twitter show. Twitter. Mine is Jake Scheidel. Thomas, do you have a Twitter?
Figure out where those underscores go. I bet you can.
We're also on Facebook. Did you watch Survivor last night? We have an email. Just feel free to email that. Email anytime. It's called Did You Watch...
Tell them what the email is, because we haven't actually said it on the show in like 4 weeks.
Did you watch last night at gmail.com. And it's very important that when you do email us, which I'm sure you will, you have to sign it, your pal, Jeff Probst.
Jeff has been dying.
He's been dying, and the only way he will get better...
We have not given him the recourse to do so, so I'm very excited for the eventual message we will definitely get from Jeff.
Yes, Jeff, we love you. We want you on our email inbox. And I guess on the show, too.
You only roast the ones you love, Jeff Probst.
You only rose the ones you love, The Bachelor, this year on ABC.
Only, one time only, Bachelor on ABC.
All right. You got anything else?
No, I'm good. We're already running long.
All right. Well, as always,
have a great summer.
Deuces.
My life is brilliant. My love is pure. I saw an angel. Of that I'm sure. She smiled at me on the subway. She was with another man. But I won't lose no sleep on that, 'cause I've got a plan. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true. I saw your face she thought up that I should be with you. But it's time to